Hi, so this is like a story and stuff about, I've had the opportunity to tell my story to lots of people, and so has he, but no one really cared because his story's boring. And, but, I just been going through so much stuff that I know other people go through too, and no one seems to ever talk about it, and whenever you try to get help, no one really does anything about it. They just basically say that you should be responsible, and it's about mental illness, and I don't have a dictionary here, but mental is like in the brain, and illness is like sick, so my brain is sick. Why do people expect me to do normal things? Like, they're normal people with normal brains. I'm a person with a sick brain. So, whatever. But, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
He knows what I'm saying. So, 1990... Oh yeah, no, I had this all like written out, and then I left it at home, and I wasn't planning on doing this thing, but I just kind of want to do it, whatever. But like from the whole, good childhood, I did have a good childhood. My parents loved me, and I had everything I needed and most of what I wanted, and I never went without. And I was a good student, and I played baseball and swimming, like at a neighborhood pool thing, and I skied, and I had fun. I did like Cub Scouts, and I was just always doing stuff. But when I was in first grade, I started getting migraines, and people who get migraines know that it's really bad, and I get them sometimes like 3, 4, 5 times a week. I was going to Catholic school. I'd just tell the teacher I was getting a migraine, and I'd go down the nurse, and she'd give me Furanol, and I'd just pass out on the cot for an hour or two, and then I'd go back to class. And it was really bad, and that was my first experience with physical pain. I had never been hurt or anything, and I didn't like it at all, and I mean, what are you going to do? So as I got older, they didn't happen as frequently, but I still get them once in a while. It's usually because I haven't eaten or had enough water, or there's a lot of stress, but nothing like when I was younger. Same thing all the way up through high school, good student. I didn't even drink until my senior year. Went to college. My first day of college, I started smoking pot. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. I loved it. It was enjoyable, but I also could do everything I needed to do. Go to class on time for the whole thing, do my homework, get good grades. Remember one time I smoked so much, and it was another world, walking to this class. It was a German exam, and I finished, and I passed it in, and I went outside and sat in the hall, and the next person to come out was 10 or 15 minutes later, and I got an A. It's so I don't see the big deal about smoking pot, whatever.
That's pretty incredible.
Well, it's because I'm incredible.
In your mind.
in your mind.
Are you in my mind right now?
No. Don't weird me out. It's hot. So, I went to Germany my sophomore year, and all I did was smoke hash. Every class was I did a summer class for a month, and then I did, they said each class meets once a week for 1 hour. There's no homework. At the end of the semester, you have to give a presentation. And they said to get familiar with the culture, you can just take one class and do whatever you want. And then the next semester, take 3 or 4. So I took one class, and I went to class 1 hour every week. And the rest of the week, I smoked hash because I couldn't find marijuana. And, and we went to Amsterdam, and that was fun. Maybe we'll make a video about the Amsterdam thing.
I want to go there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I want to window shopping.
Anyways, I had a nervous breakdown after the first semester. I guess it was a nervous breakdown. It was a constant panic attack, all day. I was freaking out because I couldn't, stay and afford to stay. And I was supposed to be able to work, and, I wasn't able to, and there's more to that story, but so I wasn't I couldn't work legally and make a little extra money, and I definitely spent a lot of the money that I did have on the hash. So, anyways, I freaked out. Like, called my mother, said I'm coming home, booked the plane ticket, and once I booked the plane ticket, I was like all better because I knew that like I didn't have to stay. And I don't know, I never had a panic attack or anxiety or anything like that, more than like, you know, normal people have, I guess. So I didn't know what was going on. I thought my heart was gonna, like, my heart's racing right now just because like whenever I think about this stuff, you know, and like it just, I can't even really talk about my suicide attempt. I've tried in therapy and I just like shut down. I don't know. But anyways, so I came home, did whatever to the next semester, went back to college. I went to one class the first day. My best friend sang, I played guitar. We had a bassist that wanted to play with us, and we met someone who wanted to play drums. And I was like, we played and it was awesome. It was, you know, musicians know, like when you get a group of people that it's fun and enjoyable, it's just so good. And I was so excited. And you know, I basically smoked weed and worked on the dining commons and didn't go to any more classes after that first class, the first day. And so obviously I dropped out, and then I don't know, and some of the times that like I'd tell my story, I wouldn't do like a whole thing, but I don't know, I don't want to make this boring because I think that some people will be able to relate. But 96 at the end of the summer, in July, August, I started to get depressed, and I had never been depressed before. I didn't know what it was. I always thought what like pretty much everybody thinks it is. It's just like, oh, you just, you know, get up and do stuff and you'll be better. So I'm not even going to describe depression. Like the only people who know are the ones who had it. And but I had that, and I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't think. I couldn't sleep. And my mother finally made me get a job, and I'd get up in the morning, walk to work, about half-hour walk. And after a month or two, I felt better, and it was awesome. So, whatever, I went back to smoking weed all the time, and, you know, they say it's self-medicating. And, like, the doctor gives you a bottle of Xanax, Ativan, Klonopin, whatever. Take one when you want to. That's okay, you know. The pharmaceuticals companies, they don't mind making money anyways, so this is okay. You take this, and oh, by the way, this is the type of drug that you can die from if you just stop taking it. Just so you know. I'm sure they tell everyone that, right? Mm-hmm. So
you become dependent on it.
Whatever. So, but yeah, if you smoke weed like even once or twice a day, which obviously I was doing a lot more than that, but like then it's like drug abuse. So anyways, 97, like in January, I had my first manic episode, and I had never had anything like that. I was like adding up license plates and like decoding them into different messages, and like aliens would talk to me through stuff, like, and not like I would hear voices, but everything was like, it's kind of like A Beautiful Mind, that movie.
Yeah.
I'm not schizophrenic, I don't think. Like, I don't see stuff. I've had like 2 hallucinations in my life, but and I wasn't on drugs, but they were definitely not real. They were hallucinations.
Yeah.
But so it was crazy, and my best friend, after we played a show, called. Oh, look, I have to look at this once in a while because we were just like, you could see like my eyebrow and like your chin or something. What was I saying? Something about
best friend after the show.
Oh yeah, my mother came, picked me up, brought me home. I volunteered. Like she wanted me to get evaluated. It was like fine with me, and you know, they put me in. They admitted me. I think I left after 3 days AMA, but they diagnosed me bipolar 1, and I started taking lithium and Mellaril. I was also given Haldol, and my throat swelled up and I couldn't breathe, and they gave me a shot. And you know, this was like my first experience with the health field and mental illness. So the next night I was having the same symptoms or whatever, and they gave me Haldol again, and I almost died. again.
It's ridiculous.
So that's nice. And like these medications are all safe, you know? Yeah, okay.
No.
I never like smoked weed and like died, you know? I mean, I passed out after a gravity bong hit, but I didn't like die. I woke up and I was okay. So whatever. I was taking Meloril too, and that is just the worst.
What is that?
Oh yeah, we can swear on this.
Yeah.
It's a little red pill, and it makes your brain, it turns it like into concrete.
Oh.
Like, oh, look at that. See, I have to move this thing. I'm gonna zoom in. Where's the zoom? See that thing right there? That's what Meloril turns your brain into. Concrete, or whatever that substance is. So yeah.
There's your brain on that one.
I zoomed back out. So I, left against medical advice and ended up going back to live with my parents. And I love my parents. I disagree with them. They're gonna see this at some point and freak out. I don't know what to say. I mean, I talked to my grandfather today, and I tried to talk a little bit about mental illness, and he still believes what he believes, like, and has for the past 60 or 70 years, whatever, and I love him and respect him, but like I was telling your mother to try I didn't even tell her to try. I just said we tried the beef tongue or whatever it was, and she was like almost throwing up.
It was chewy.
And then I told her about scooping brains out with spoons, and
that's where you lost her.
Yeah, I was trying to get her to hurl or something. But the rest of the world eats all of it, and so I figured I'd try it, and I don't care for it, but whatever. The roast pork is good though. So then, after that, which is what I'm concerned about now, like I said, I'm just coming off of the high end of bipolar, whatever you call it these days, and I'm susceptible to a depression, so I'm trying to be careful, and Deacon's always there for me, so that helps, and I have other people who've been helping me out tremendously, and I have no idea what I'm doing at this point in my life, and whatever, maybe that'll be another video, but I went into another depression, and it was the same thing. Not sleeping, in bed all the time, couldn't eat. I tried to make a sandwich once, and I couldn't make a sandwich. I had to go back to bed. How is that okay? I was an honor student, I should be able to make a sandwich. So it's like mental illness, but it also becomes physical. William Styron wrote Darkness Visible. If you either have had depression and you want to read something about, you just need a dictionary, because every other word is I think I've heard it before, but I have no idea what it means. But I read maybe 20, 30 pages. It was too much for me. I can't read that book, but I still, I think I gave it away, but it's a really good book. But I was going to a day program in a hospital right down the road, which we won't name any names, but if anyone can recognize where we are by the interior of this car, then you can figure out that that way is a hospital. And I'd go there during the day. My mother would wake me up or just get me out of bed and drive me up there, and it was hell. And they have a little breakfast thing, and then these goal for the day groups are my goal for the day is to breathe for the next 5 seconds. I don't know, I couldn't think of anything. And so I don't know, maybe a month or a little longer I was going there, and it just was not getting better. They must have been trying me on medication, I can't remember. And cigarettes, that'd be nice. Can you use my light? That's my ZZ Top lighter.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is my ZZ Top lighter.
Dude, you're
Your
crazy.
black lighter is... I know I'm crazy. That's why I'm doing this thing.
You need a fucking lighter.
Potty mouth. I'll put you back. I should take you out of the picture. That's what I should do.
Whatever.
So, it was not getting better, and it was terrible. And it was a rainstorm. I had once almost been struck by lightning at Salisbury Beach, and it was terrifying. It was the hairs on me stood up, and then there was a flash of light and a loud boom, and I was deaf for like 2 or 3 hours. And it was at a cookout, and on the beach, well, under the big thing they have there.
Yeah.
And no one even believed me. I was like, why would I lie about that? Like, not that I could hear what they were saying anyways, but anyways, I was hoping that the lightning would strike me in the rainstorm, because it was striking all around the area. And it didn't, and I knew it was time to go home, and I decided that I would cut my wrists at night and take the rest of my sleeping pills, which wasn't a lot, but like 3 Ambien, 4, whatever, would do something. At least put me out and while I bled to death, you know. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, fortunately, I didn't look up or ask someone how you slit your wrists, and I did, and it didn't work, and I tried to suffocate myself, and then I went downstairs at my parents' house, my brother's room. He's 8 years younger than I am, and he had knocked on the door when I started cutting, and I told him to go away. It's like that, and the time I harmed my daughter are the two, like, most unpleasant memories I think I have. And so I went downstairs. They were all sleeping. You know, there's blood everywhere in my room, like in my parents' house, like right across from their room. And I got a butcher knife, or I guess like in Psycho, that kind of knife. Is that called a butcher knife?
Yes.
So I put it through my chest, and it sucked, and I punctured my lung. And I was in ICU for 3 days, and then I went to another hospital, and which was funny because back then you could smoke, and I had just punctured my lung with a butcher knife, and they're like, "You want to smoke?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." You know what I mean? So probably I'll die any day now because of that. But no one, I mean, that's like, you know, they didn't even bother to think like, oh, a lung laceration and like inhaling smoke, probably not a good idea. But I'm still alive, like 11 years later.
Wasn't as hated as much as it is now.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. What I'm getting at is, I'll have to do this. Like my teeth, right? I'm 36. I don't know. I can't see with this thing. I'm just gonna like this. The other one pulled out. That's broken. That's broken. That wisdom tooth is still in, and that's broken. It's pretty bad. And then like that's gross. The crown, real crown. Broken on the inside, on the bottom. How does that happen? And then like it's just gross, you know. And I didn't take great care of my teeth, but like my friends who are 36 their teeth don't look like that. And Depakote is, I guess, known to do bad things to bones and teeth of bones. And like I gained 150 pounds and maybe lost over the whole 11 years 30 pounds, like 250 now. At one point I was like 330. And I mean, obviously there's people bigger, but like I played baseball until I hurt my back, and I try to be somewhat active up until, you know, my back bothers me now and my knees are both junk, and like, I don't know. Anyways, so after 2 years of like smoking pot once in a while, and I was never a big drinker, I have stories I want to tell, but I don't want to make this thing like so long.
Save it for episode.
I got wheeled home in a shopping carriage in Germany, and I was big.
Awesome.
and I drank a whole bottle of
that's
Bacardi
awesome.
to prove that American men could drink more than English women. And I won the thing, and I was sick for like 2 or 3 days. Like drinking was a treat for me. It was fun, and you know what? At this point, like, seriously, this is one thing that really pisses me off. Everyone's like, pot is so bad, right? Like, does it even matter, like, what you do? If you can, like, do what you do and then everything's fine, like, obviously the point of this whole thing is that I can't do anything. Everything, you know, the longest stretch I've had since I got bipolar or whatever was, like, 6 years of, like, clean and sober and making it look like everything was fine. You know, not telling anyone what was really on my mind, because every time you talk about, like, you know, especially, like, mental illness to someone who doesn't understand it or thinks they know everything about it, and, whatever, I'm getting on a tangent. Try to stay focused. But, the thing, Like, I used to deliver to VFWs and AMVETs, and it's like, these guys were like, if they opened at 7 in the morning, they were leaving at like 9:30, like, cocked. Driving around. Like, why don't the cops hang out there and, like, brutalize them? You know why? It's like, because they know they're not a threat. Like, if they've been through, like, if they're veterans of foreign wars, they can probably handle, like, driving drunk in Haverhill. They've been doing it their whole lives. But, like, you don't see cops, like, staking those places out early in the morning.
Yeah.
And like, whatever. So, I don't know. I'm really upset, and I'm trying to, like, say something in this thing here about...
Just say it.
No, like, there's just so much to say, and I'm not... So, I smoked weed. I was like, oh, I should have done that. And, oh no, it was when I went off my meds in 2005. My girlfriend was pregnant, and I felt great. It was like the best time of my life. Like, from 2004, like the Red Sox in the postseason, like I'm going out with this girl I'm madly in love with, and they win the World Series like crazy. Like, that's not supposed to happen. And then, like, we, decide to have a kid a few months later, and she's pregnant, and I start Deacon and Krista and Kate and I don't know. Sorry if I'm using your names. But whatever.
We'll see you later.
I don't want to use hospitals' names because I don't want to make waves. But they knew that I wasn't taking my meds because they were counting them, and I didn't even care, so I didn't hide them or anything, or take one out. I didn't care. I didn't think to look at my meds, and I felt so great. I didn't think anything was wrong, but I ended up drinking a bottle of Boone's wine so I could get drunk and fall asleep because I wasn't sleeping. Like, mania or whatever you call it this week is just like pure energy all the time. And then I called my friends, and like my friend got me into McLean Hospital, and it was the best thing for me. Like, if it was luck or whatever, the 2 meds they gave me worked for the next 6 years. And but a year and a half, didn't smoke, drink, whatever, and did it again. Like, we did it together. We thought it would be safe because we all were like clean and sober, and we thought it would be cool if we did it, and it was really cool. Except for the first night,
Yeah, you got anxiety and freaked out.
Yeah, and our daughter freaked out. Like, she could just tell, and she was like in her bassinet or crib. It was a crib. And I just wanted to say bassinet because I still think that's a cool word. So yeah, that was bad. But then, like, it was fun, and then I tried to drink and did it, and it was not fun, and I was like, this is too much work. So a year and a half, clean and sober, and then, like, I might be skipping around or whatever, but then I was like, you know what? I'm like, I'm okay, but I'm not happy. I have anxiety all the time. I'm worried about everything. Like, why is that car, like, close to the yellow line? Oh my God. Anything. It was crazy. And my OCD, like, set the alarm, like, 40 times, you know what I mean? Attacks, like, I don't know if there's a difference between anxiety and panic attacks, but either one of them suck. And I don't know. I mean, I get migraines a lot. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that, like, what I've discovered is that when I smoke pot regularly, if it's once a day or 20 times a day, wow, the camera went up, or once every other day or twice a week or whatever, it's like in my system. It's like a medication, just like the meds that they give you. Only, like, it's fine if you stop taking it. Like, I just went in the hospital after smoking tons of weed all day, every day, and I went in the hospital and I didn't have, like, withdrawals. I was like, big deal. Like, maybe if I'm lucky when I get out, I'll get to smoke and whatever. If they put me in a program, I didn't care. But, dude, this is a wicked bad tangent. So, I was like, all right. I was on probation. It was not for a drug-related charge. So I was like, I'm going to try smoking pot. Maybe it'll work. If it doesn't work, then I won't do it. But I wasn't going to go telling all my friends. The only person who knew was the woman who got it for me. And I, of course, until this was before I asked you, would say it's for a friend, which is the classic thing that is for me. I'm just not going to tell you. And same thing when I asked him. And it worked, you know. I smoke pot because I like it. I like the effects it produces. I can focus. I can get up on time and be where I gotta go. You know, whether I have been smoking or I wake up and... If I take 2 puffs off a bowl, how is that different from eating a Xanax or an Ativan? What's the difference? You know what I mean? Seriously, it's ridiculous. And I know that there's all like laws and votes and all this like decriminalization. It's like, yeah, great. You know, that's like when it's like, I know this wouldn't happen, but let's just say like, you know, I'm feeling suicidal and like, oh, we'll book you an appointment in, you know, 2012. Like, what do I do between now and then? And getting it sucks because you never know what you're getting or who's got it or when or if they're out or if you have to go to this place or worry about, you know, I can't afford to get too much, so I don't have to worry about the whole ounce thing in Massachusetts, but it's just like, well, I know California and Oregon and Hawaii, I think, states with like the dispensaries.
In Colorado, you said, right?
Oh, Colorado.
Too.
Did I say Colorado?
Yeah, Colorado does. I don't think you did. But they prescribe it for anxiety.
Is it Oregon? Yeah. And it's
no different than what
you
you're
don't
doing
have
yourself.
to smoke it. You can. It's alcohol and fat soluble. You can make butter, oils. You know, I don't deal with alcohol, so whatever. But like, you can make tinctures, and I don't even know what tinctures really are, but it's a cool word, so I'm gonna throw out there that I think you can make tinctures. It's like some kind of like
you have to make sense of it.
Oil or something.
You just say the word.
I don't know
what it means.
Look it up. Google it.
Me look it up. The person that corrects me on my own.
Not
how I talk.
Not vocabulary.
This woman is on her cell phone pumping gas.
Static electricity.
The only reason it's okay is because she's smoking hot.
I'm not gonna point the camera.
She's driving the car that got repo too of yours.
So basically, since I started smoking pot a year and a half ago, and today is September 1st, 2011.
Is it?
About a year and a half ago. I feel really bad about I didn't tell my friends, family, you know, anybody. I wanted to see if I could do it, and if anyone that I saw every day, friends, family, at work, you know, whatever it was, you know, I was involved with some things, and like I saw people all the time, the same people most of the time, like 5-6 times a week. And no one ever said, like, you know, one time my friend said, like, you know, you don't seem right tonight. And I just said there's a lot on my mind. I always said if someone says, do you smoke pot or have you been smoking pot, I would say yes. And no one ever did. And maybe that's like a Bill Clinton thing to do, but like, it works for me, you know. I trusted that like these people knew me, they'd known me for years, and you know, obviously I didn't like smoke a fat bowl and pick up my daughter and go driving and do stuff like so I just
You needed to do something for yourself, and you did.
all psychiatry is experimentation. You give a patient a medication. I won't speak as if I'm a psychiatrist. If the doctor gives the patient a medication, you know, all kinds of different side effects could happen. You don't know. Have no idea. There's no way. If there's a way to find it out, then I don't think the doctor's using it, because it's just basically throw the dice. You know, and I don't know, I keep losing my train of thought. I want people to know who are out there, like, with mental illness, or whatever you call it, because what happened to me this time, I went off my meds. I wanted to be off Zyprexa. I didn't like the way, you know, I didn't like the way it makes me. I take it at night. In the morning, it's hard to wake up. And I had been on lithium once, only lithium, and it was fine. I did really well. And and then my metabolism increased or something, and I had to go on Trileptal. But I've been on like 30 meds in the past 14 years, and I've been hospitalized at least 10 times. I don't know how many
More than
times.
that.
I just know it's at least 10. And like, people are like, why do you do all these things? You know, why aren't you more responsible? I'm like,